Okay, I did a video the other day on Brett Laurie and how the foul tip was caused by some physical things that were happening in the swing as well as some mental. And then someone asked me, what's the role of the head going down at impact? This ball was crushed. Christian Betancourt killed this ball, and it's on a 77-mile-an-hour curveball down and in. And yes, righties hit down and in also. In fact, it's about 10% better in every study that I've ever looked at. Righties actually hit it better down and in than lefties do. But the question today is what role does putting the head down? What does that do? What's the cause of it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is that why he hit the ball 900 feet? And certainly there's a lot of stuff going on beside him just putting his head down. But let's talk about that one fact. He puts his head down right here. The ball is not in the picture yet. So clearly he's not tracking the ball all the way to this point and then seeing the ball hit the bat. In fact, it's physically impossible to do that. If you're watching the ball in the first third of the flight and then the second third of the flight, and then we know that the last third of the flight is the swing itself. That's how long it takes. So if he's doing this, if he's pulling his head down to this point after that second third of the flight, then that's perfect timing, and then this whole thing could be a physical possibility. I don't think there's time for that to happen. Maybe on a 77-mile-an-hour curveball. But I think the same people that would emphasize that you should put your head down would also say the reason you do that is so that you don't pull your head out. If you keep your head down, then you're not going to pull your head out, which is thought to be a common mistake. But I would argue, is pulling his head off the ball. But he's doing it in a way that it matches what he's been taught, which is to put your head down. But somewhere here, or here, or here, it's most likely that it happens in the second third of the flight. The first third, he probably has his head. He's tracking the ball for some time. But then he puts his head here. In other words, he's skipping ahead. He's skipping some segment of this ball flight in order to get his head to go to this position. So that's the one possibility that you can see the ball hit the bat, is to skip ahead and make your head go down to this point. But what else is happening when you make your head go down? Well, when you push your head down, you push the shoulder down. That back shoulder is on more of an angle now. And what does that mean? Well, that puts the shoulders on more of a tilt. And then, as a result, the barrel goes down, 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 a little more than normal, down below the flight of the pitch, which in this case is about 9 or 10 degrees downward. And so him getting down below the contact point, below the pitch line, is no big deal, because when he starts to go back up, he's actually going to be in line with the pitch for a while. Quite a while, as long as the pitch is down in that curveball kind of pitch angle. But if this is a fastball at the top of the zone, it's going to be more like about 3 or 4 degrees flat when it's a fastball at the top of the zone. Now, if it's a fastball in, a little bit lower, it can be 7 or 8 degrees, and that's why I think 7 or 8 degrees, 9 degrees is somewhere around the line that you want to swing the bat. But as soon as it gets to be more than that, we start to have problems. But the head going down is the real question. So, I think that the head going down causes this to happen. He skips ahead, and he actually does pull his head off the ball too early. But not in an outward fashion, in a downward fashion. B, I think the other issue is that the shoulder goes down, and that causes the barrel to go down as well. The head going down forces the shoulder to go down, and the shoulder going down makes the bat go down a little bit more. Okay, now, the other point about this, and I don't know the exact numbers because I haven't done a complete test, but for every one crushed ball that you see the hitter's head down, and I would argue his head's down, but he's not making solid contact. He's fouling that ball off. One of the best hitters of our era, head down, fouling it off. Head down, really down, all over that visually, but yet swings and misses. This is 96 up and in, more like 101 effective velocity. If we saw a side view of this, I would venture to say that he was 8 or 9 or 10 miles an hour late on this fastball. And I would say that at whatever 96 middle away, about 93 is about where he was at. So my guess, and I could show you if I had the side view of this. You can only measure it with the side view. But based on tons of studies, his brain is going to be at about 93 when the pitcher's throwing 96. This pitch is really 101. I'm going to say he's 8 miles an hour late. That's the real reason why he missed it. His head was down. He did all that right stuff. If that's one of those key elements, his head was down on all those. I would say most guys, their head is down almost all the time because they work on that all the time. I'm just wondering, is it really a good thing? And my instinct is, well, based on the measurement, based on the evidence at hand, if we've got one crushed ball with the head down and about 8 or 9 that's not crushed with the head down, I know the number's not quite that high. I know that there's going to be some where they pull their head out a little bit. But I can show you a bunch of examples from this night that the head was down and contact did not take place, especially 100% on time contact. StatCast shows that Trout and Harper lead Major League Baseball by a lot as far as the over 100 mile an hour exit velocities. They're way up there. Everybody else, however, when we start talking about their maximum, if their max is 115, they're only doing that 2 or 3 times a year. So let's just say it's 5 times a year, and they've had 500 at-bats. That's 1 in 100. Now, that doesn't mean that they're keeping their head down on all of those, because I don't know what that number is. But I do know that on this night, I can show you a whole lot more head down, no contact, than I can head down contact, solid contact, 100% on time contact. Heads down on all of these. I did a ranking of hard hit balls in the strike zone, on balls in the strike zone. Manny Machado was the highest at 107. Victor Martinez was at 106. Big Papi was at 102. Heads down like crazy, but no contact. Robinson Cano was at 089. Harper 063, as big a year as he's having. Dustin Pedroia 033. Now, granted, a lot of those balls that are in the strike zone are taken. They're not even swung at. So that's a kind of an unrealistic number. But when you look at their hard hit ball rates of somewhere in the low, really low 200s, in fact, many of the guys that I just mentioned will probably be just a little bit below 200 with their hard hit ball rate. That's 2 out of 10 that are crushed. And that's a very, very low number. So I'm not sure what the exact number is. But my point, I think, hopefully is made. Head down, no contact. I can show you this a heck of a lot more than you can show me the other, where the head down and he crushes the ball.